Wow, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Stylosa and this is Unit Lost, and I'm not going to put any of this on the screen because this is a massive post that Jeff has just put up on the Overwatch forums, which goes into crazy detail on the balance of the game. So I'm going to read these off and then we'll discuss it a little bit in the video. So get ready for this, guys, and enjoy the gameplay in the background. This is what Jeff says. I've been reading the feedback regarding the current metagame and general desire for radical balance changes to mix things up. I'll offer some of my personal perspective, but I'm a little nervous doing that for a few reasons. Even though I'm the game director and spokesperson for Overwatch, I don't make decisions in a vacuum, and I am only one part of a very awesome team. Not everyone on my team agrees with me, and we have different opinions on the state of the game and balance overall. We do have a lot of alignment, but we talk things through a lot, and we don't always agree. So I know this will become the official response on the subject, but I am really offering this from a very strong personal viewpoint first and foremost. So what he's saying is everybody's got different ideas on the team, but whatever Jeff says is basically seen as the team's decision. It's not. These are just his personal thoughts. So let's get stuck into this. This is going to be amazing, to be honest. Right, let's go. The most controversial thing I'll say here, hopefully, is that I believe the game is currently balanced. Okay. What I mean is that I don't feel like there are any heroes who are way too strong to the point of breaking balance. That doesn't mean that I personally don't think there are some problems with heroes. While I believe moving Roadhog away from a one-shot combo was a necessary thing we had to do, so then why bring Doofus into the game? I'm not entirely satisfied with where he's at right now. I also think we need to do some brainstorming when it comes to Mercy's Resurrect, for example. Definitely. The ability is extremely powerful in a very unfun way for both Mercy and everyone playing against Mercy. But it's not Doomsday. No, it's Doomfist Day. Jeff, come on. These aren't game-breaking issues. They are better fixed slowly and carefully, as the overall game is not ruined by them. It's just using these examples. All right, that's fair enough. But I think the game is balanced. Statistically, there are things. Statistically, the things that are most unbalanced aren't what you think they are. Symmetra and Torbjorn win rates are not balanced. They are too good. But this is why we don't balance on statistics alone. I don't sense a great community uproar over the fact that Torb and Symmetra are overpowered right now, at least statistically. Well, the thing is that they might seem like that statistically because they're only used in certain situations. They're not played on every single map, on every single point. The points that you take them on, they've got very high win rates. Like, you take them on first point of Eichenwald, for example, or something like that, where they can really work in the choke, or Hollywood, for example. Anyway, he goes on. As I said last week, the perception of balance is more powerful than balance itself. I really do not like summarizing the feedback from a large community because I think it's unfair to so many people. But in general, I'm getting a sense that the real issue people are feeling is that the meta does not shift as frequently as they would like. My sense is that players start with the pro scene and work their way down and base this feedback mostly on pick rates. In the pro scene, it's true that the teams settle into a subset of the hero pool. We tend to see high level, let's just say the top third of all players competitively, slowly catch up to the pro scene with some considerable lag of weeks, if not months. The rest of us, the vast majority of us, don't really play this meta at all, but we're aware of it either through community discussion or because we enjoy watching the pro scene. And that's true. I say that. This is why I say rank doesn't matter, meta doesn't matter. It only really matters if you're like in Masters and above. Beyond that, it doesn't really matter. You can almost play whatever the hell you like, provided you're good at those heroes and you play better than the enemy team. It only really becomes an issue with picks and stuff when the teams are equally as good. Like if you're playing in, Grandmaster or High Master, you can't roll like a Reinhardt, basically. You'll get destroyed. So you tend to roll a Winston and things like that. So yeah, but it's a very small community, that is. So I get what he's saying there, and I do agree with that. There are lots of ways the meta can change, but if I had to boil it down to three main ways that we see in video games at least, I would point to 1, something changes with the balance, 2, players innovate new strategies, and 3, the game forces meta change through mechanics. To comment on all three. I like when the meta changes on balance only when the game is not balanced and something was adjusted to make the game more balanced. Another way of putting this is, I do not agree with the philosophy that we should just make balance changes solely to shift people off the meta. The game team should be constantly evaluating balance and making changes that are actually needed because a hero is unbalanced. But making changes to a hero because their pick rate is too high or too low is not my idea of responsible game balance. Interesting. Symmetra's pick rate is very low right now. We could make changes to make her a must pick in the meta and thus shift in the meta, but I feel like, if anything, I am concerned about Symmetra's balance and worried that when she does eventually make her way back into the meta, she is not properly balanced. So to summarize, balancing heroes who are unbalanced is good. Balancing heroes just to make them picked more or picked less is not good, in my humble opinion. Alright, the Symmetra example there is a little bit weird because, like I said before, Symmetra's stats are probably skewed because she's only really used on certain points. But then again, maybe that's my opinion being skewed because I don't play, you know, at all of the levels of the game. So maybe Symmetra's just everywhere. I don't know. Regarding the meta changing, because players have innovated a new strategy, well, this is the best case scenario. We've seen this happen time and time again. This usually happens in a pro tournament where a team pulls out a new strategy and performs well. This was how triple tank rose in fashion, and it did because a team called NIP, who are sadly not with us anymore, they invented triple tank and it became the meta. Innovating out of meta is extremely hard. All players are very different. Some are highly creative and some are excellent at executing, some at both. Having the time and freedom to innovate on strategy is difficult no matter what the level of play you're at. Pros have busy schedules, or schedules as everyone was telling me the other day, but it's schedules where I come from, and that's what Captain Picard says, and it's not always easy for them to practice new out-of-the-box things, especially if their tournament schedule is hectic. But when all is said and done, to me personally, the meta shifting because players innovate is the best possible outcome. And sure, I agree with that, it is. You don't want the devs messing with the game to force changes, like, you know, nerfing Roadhog like they have just took him out of the game so we don't see him anymore and it makes Dive more powerful. Bringing Doomfist into the game, you could argue, is going to make Dive more powerful, etc, etc, etc. Anyway, he goes on. This is a massive post as well, guys, so awesome for bearing with me. And there is a link to it as well in the description below. Lastly, a game can force meta shift through mechanics. The MOBA genre has huge hero pools, yet without pick and ban systems, teams would inevitably play the same comps over and over. The game, through the mechanics of picking and banning, is forcing variety. We could do this with Overwatch. We could prevent certain heroes from being played some or all of the time, or we could let your opponent prevent you from playing your desired hero. We could also force you to, or allow your opponent to force you to play a hero you don't want to play. Personally, I'm not a believer in these systems for Overwatch, while I understand and respect why they use them in a MOBA. I prefer to think that Overwatch allows you to be creative, which is different than forces you to be creative. That makes sense, probably. I don't want them to watch the best Genji player in the world play Zarya. I want to see him or her play Genji. Alright, fair point. And also, seeing how many of you main heroes because you love them, I don't want the game or your opponent telling you what you're not allowed to play. Exactly. You know, I don't think picking or banning is ever really going to come into Overwatch just because of that. People become attached to heroes. You know, imagine if imagine if you only played Mercy and Mercy was banned in every game. You would not play Overwatch anymore. And you have to remember, this is a game at the end of the day. You need to be able to play the game and have fun. So he goes on, we recently added 6v6 elimination to the arcade, and I think the mode is strong enough to exist in quick play and competitive. That mode is a good example of mechanical forcing function where the game causes shifts to happen in pick rates and team comps. The winning team is forced to play 18 diverse heroes. I would be willing to bet that if the mode was considered competitive, eventually a meta would settle in where 18 core heroes were mostly picked, 7 would be rather neglected. Again, I don't think this is horrible or the end of the world. I think it's a reality, and it is. Metas will always evolve, right? Teams will always gravitate, especially at the highest level, to the heroes that will, you know, work the best, and currently that's dive comp. There are games with a set meta that evolve very slowly or remain stable for a long periods of time, and this doesn't mean the game isn't balanced or fun to watch. Most of the pro sports fall into this category. TF2 was largely played demo, medic, scout, scout, soldier, soldier. That was sort of just accepted. It was fun to play and watch. Baseball isn't terrible or broken because every team puts their strongest batter fourth in the lineup. But maybe I am off on what the expectation is from players here. I know the desire, and mine too, is that during every match of Overwatch, all 25 heroes are viable at any time. And I get that, you know, it is, and I guess those were like the best games at the start of Overwatch's life, where people were picking all kinds of crazy comps, but it's to be expected that a meta would develop and certain heroes would not get used, and then certain heroes wouldn't get used on certain maps. Anyway, he goes on. is drawing that every match of Overwatch all 25 heroes are viable all the time. The reality of gamers and video games is that any perceived, whether real or not, advantage is going to cause players to assume that they must play hero X over hero Y. A professional Overwatch player will not play hero X if she thinks hero Y is even 1% stronger. We can balance the heroes to equality, but if there's a slight advantage of perception, it won't matter. Looking at the perception of the meta, it's obvious that dive is the predominant strategy. Correction, it is the predominant strategy being used at the professional scene. Again, this is what I've said time and time again. In fact, in the pro overanalyze videos that I make, I'd say this, yeah, we've shown you dive. I mean, one of them showed you one of the best dive teams in the world, and I'm saying, guys, this probably isn't going to work on your ladder because you're not going to be this coordinated. That doesn't mean to say you can't pick the same heroes, because you could, but are you going to have the coordination? So that's an interesting point that he makes, and we do have to realize that. The majority of Overwatch players play quick play as their primary mode. That's interesting. I thought maybe comp would be the most popular, but I guess it's not. The top 6 picked heroes over the last month in quick play are Genji, 76, Hanzo, McCree, Mercy, and Junkrat. For the statistical majority of Overwatch players who are not pros and don't play competitive, this is your meta. So that's not a meta, is it? But apparently it is, based off what Jeff has just said, off the player base. It drives players crazy when I post stats like that because they want to know about competitive and not quick play. The point I am trying to make by posting quick play is that the numbers show that there is what the majority of players are actually experiencing, which is different from perceiving. But looking at competitive only, here are the top 6 picked heroes. All right, Mercy by a long shot. Right, okay, Mercy is the most picked competitive hero. I don't think that's a surprise. 76, yeah. D.Va, yeah. Lucio, yeah. Ana, yeah. And Genji. Interestingly, number 7 is Reinhardt. The next tank after that, we know Roadhog. I was going to say Winston. Is Winston? No, Roadhog. So in the past month in comp, that's what you've actually been playing. So Roadhog is still kind of being used, even though I'm saying he's been nerfed into oblivion. But let's talk about the elite players, maybe the top third of all MMR. Their top picked heroes of the last month was Ana. Yes, Ana. Okay, so what he's saying that I think it probably is like Diamond and above. Top picked is Ana. All right. Okay. I don't mean to discount your fatigue with the dive meta, but I also want us looking at it from a realistic standpoint. Dive itself is an interesting comp, and I think it is, right? And I think Blizzard have probably engineered it a little bit to bring dive into the game because the Overwatch World Cup is coming up, and beyond that, we've got the Overwatch League, and dive is very explosive. It's much more interesting to watch than triple tank. It's very fast, high-skill heroes, flashy heroes. I think, you know, I'd be lying if I thought Blizzard didn't actually have that in the back of their mind when they were thinking of balance changes. But anyway, I doubt we'll ever get confirmation on that or what. It features super high-skill heroes doing very Overwatch things. Watching top Genjis and Tracers is fantastic. I don't think dive comp is bad, but I think what players want is to see more comps in addition to dive comp. I too would love for this to happen, but in a non-force, non-damaging way. I don't think we should throw a balance grenade at all of the heroes to change pick rates. And I don't think long term for the game it's good to start imposing restrictions on you as to what heroes you're allowed or not allowed to play. I think we also need to be careful about demanding drastic change. A few months ago we nerfed D.Va and we faced the ire of many very upset players who thought we ruined the hero and that she would never be played again. There was a mega thread, mega thread after mega thread demanding that she be buffed. We held our ground because we believed she was fine. We did not touch it, and now she's one of the dominant heroes in the dive meta, clearly not in need of a buff. And I think I said that at the time. I said you just need to be a bit more clever when you play D.Va, because D.Va at the time, before she was nerfed, could just do whatever she liked because she was so tanky. Now, she still is tanky, yeah, but you have to be a bit more clever, and the players have got clever over time, and that's why she's in the game. But I didn't think she needed buffed at the time. You can go back and check my channel, guys. Pretty sure I put a video out where I was like, yeah, she don't need buffing. Alright, so he goes on to say, and this is literally the biggest post Jeff has ever made, I'm literally dying reading this off. Players think that every change we make to the heroes has the intent of buffing or nerfing that hero. Changes to heroes are usually made to make the game better. That's what we're trying to do with Roadhog. Our goal wasn't a nerf, our intent wasn't a nerf, our intent was to try to remove the behaviour that had become not okay with our player base, the one-shot combo. So why is Doomfist just been launched with a massive one-shot combo? Beggars belief, I don't know. Maybe he needs to be adjusted again, probably. I am just using this as an example that not everything is super black and white. There is a grey area in making the game feel good. Sometimes we need to hold our ground and not make dramatic swings to the game. I know this post will be met with a lot of disagreement. The desire for dive comp to go away will not be satisfied from some of you until Winston and D.Va are nerfed into the ground. But we're not going to do that. So there you go. D.Va and Winston will not be nerfed. We are going to make balance changes to heroes when they need it, and we do this more frequently than you give us credit for. 3 months from now, there will be a new meta. If you're the type of person who feels like the meta should shift every 2 weeks, then you'll probably be sick of that meta and wishing it was back in the good old dive comp days. I just caution against wanting change for the sake of change. The meta will shift soon enough. Well, I think I added my little comments to that as I was going through it, so I don't really want to go over it and recap it right now. This is a huge post. Go and check this post out. This will probably be broken down over the next couple of days and gone into more detail on various aspects of it. But it is very interesting that Jeff likes dive comp, doesn't want to make changes to ruin the meta, doesn't like one-shot abilities, and that's why Roadhog was got rid of. But also at the start of this, he did say this here are his thoughts and it's a team decision. So then when we see things like Doomfist in the game, who has a 250 HP damage attack, which you can do every 4 seconds, which, you know, could be changed. He's still on PTR right now. That's a one-shot ability, and he wants to move away from that, but clearly other members of the team probably don't feel that way. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been Stylosa and this is Unit Lost. It looks like Winston and D.Va are not getting nerfed anyway. They'll just be left, and we'll see what happens in a few months' time. This has been a huge post off Jeff. As I said, go and check it out. You can follow me on Twitter, which is @UnitLostGaming, and join the Discord, which is discord.gg/UnitLost. And I'll catch you on the next one, guys. Toodaloo.